morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Last night, the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills went into an overtime thriller with the Broncos escaping with a 33-30 win. But that did come at a price as QB Bo Nix fractured his right ankle and will be sidelined for the rest of the postseason. The late-night game got out of hand quick as Seattle rolled the 49ers 41-6. And then today, postseason play continues as the Houston Texans travel to take on the Patriots at 3, while the Chicago Bears host the LA Rams at 6:30. In other NFL news, former Cleveland Browns head coach and two-time NFL Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski became the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons yesterday afternoon. Stefanski went 45-56 in 6 seasons with the Browns. Yesterday in men's hoops, Ohio State got back on track with an 86-74 win over UCLA. And Cincinnati had the upset of the day over number 2 Iowa State 79-70, just the second loss for the Cyclones on the season.
Oh, baby, it's time for On the Money because let's face it, it's more fun that way.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Here's Scotty Vegas and Dave Biddle.
Welcome to On the Money. I am Dave Biddle, joined by Scotty Vegas. We have producer Isaiah Jacob at the controls. This is a show about sports betting, and we also talk sports in general. Scotty Vegas, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Oh, no, I saw you just a few hours ago, actually.
I know, right? We had a blast yesterday at our favorite place, the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, and what a scene it was yesterday, too. Like, it was like crazy standing room only. I'm there for just about every Ohio State football game. It felt like a Buckeye game in the Sportsbook because everyone was going crazy during that Bills-Broncos game.
That was a great game, and there was a lot of Bills fans there. When you took the mic, you're like, how many Broncos fans we have here? It was kind of like, yeah. And there were a few, and then like, how many Bills fans are here? You would have thought we were near Buffalo. I mean, we're not too far away, but you know what I mean? Like, what a game. What did you think of the controversial calls?
Oh, my gosh. Well, so the deal for me on that interception/reception at the end, I thought it was whatever was called in the field deserved to stay, right? So I didn't have a problem either way, but I think the call on the field interception should have stayed interception. My issue was the pass interference calls in overtime where you had like no consistency on that, and that was really kind of a frustrating way for that thing to end with those pass interference calls. But overall, Dave, as far as entertainment goes, that game had everything, right? Even in the first half, where you have the Bills look like they're looking good, and then all the momentum changes and Denver takes over, and then at the end of half you have Josh Allen with a terrible fumble, and then all the momentum goes back to Denver, and then the Bills make an incredible comeback, take the lead, and it's like, okay, now the Bills are going to get it done. And then the Broncos go down and score. Like, it was just like edge of the seat, just a fantastic football game and more devastation for the Bills.
I wasn't going to bring this up until the second hour when we do the That's Trash segment, but I am not a fan of the pass interference rule in the NFL. It feels like the definition of we do it this way because we've always done it this way. What am I talking about? I'm specifically talking about it being a spot foul on deep passes. Now, I'm okay with it. Thank you, Isaiah. I am okay with it being a spot foul on deep passes if it's completely egregious. Like, your guys beat you by 2 yards. You can see the ball's at least he's probably going to catch it, and you just tackle him to prevent the touchdown. And that's the spirit that's why they initially made it like that. Too often it's a deep pass down there. It's questionable whether it's even pass interference, and you get like a 50-yard penalty. I'm not saying it has to be just like college where it's just 15 no matter what. I think it still should be, if it's ruled egregious, and you're like, well, how can you determine that? There's all kinds of subjective calls in football, and I do think it should be reviewable too.
Remember back in the day when face masks, and I agree with you on that, when face masks were either 5 yards or 15 yards.
Yep.
And you kind of went on how severe the face mask penalty was. And I'm with you on that because, man, that really changed the entire game was pass interferences and then lack of pass interference calls. And so in both ways, it was like very questionable. And so, yeah, it kind of marred what was a great game. I had no problem with them calling it an interception interception on the field because
You and I both agreed at the time,
like,
when they were reviewing it.
When we first saw it, we were I looked at you and I'm like, what do you think here? What's your immediate reaction? And it was, we got to stay with the call that was on the field, which was an interception. And I think that was fair. But I'm with you 100%. I agree completely about the pass interference. If it's an egregious one, then you can do spot foul. If it's a questionable one, like what was last night, then at most 15.
Yeah, I don't know why there's not more discussion about that, about changing that. Maybe now there will be.
We've started it.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's look ahead. We're going to bounce around a lot today. Let's look ahead. I guess we could get in real quick. By the way, the Seahawks are really good. They're your Super Bowl favorite. They destroyed the 49ers 41-6. All right, tomorrow night we've got a big game. Indiana against Miami in Miami's home stadium. I still think it's going to be at least 50-50 or Indiana fans, which is insane to think about. Miami's playing in their home stadium. 8.5 points. I do think Indiana's going to win. I think if I had to bet both ways, if I had to take the money line, definitely Indiana. Point spread, I think I would take Miami to cover. That's a little too high.
Yeah, and I think there was a little bit of an overreaction, and I know Indiana looked so good against Oregon, and that's why that moved as much as it did. But let's think back, common opponent, right? So they both have played Ohio State, and we obviously have watched both of those games very closely. So I test seeing Ohio State versus Miami and seeing Ohio State versus Indiana. And it's hard for me, having seen as a common opponent Ohio State, it's hard for me to say that Indiana is more than 8.5 points better than Miami, seeing how they both played against Ohio State. And that's why, for me, I'm with you on, I think Indiana's going to win the game. I think the 8.5 points is too many points.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's too bad these are the two teams that Ohio State lost to, but I guess you could say, though, hey, we went 12-2, and the only teams we lost to were the teams in the national championship team. It's a lot like Indiana last year. Indiana's 2 losses were to Ohio State and Notre Dame, who ended up playing for the national championship. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Are you rooting for Indiana? I'm going to be.
Absolutely.
I think it's okay, yeah. I've seen some people are like, they're still like upset about it. I'm like, about Indiana and all the attention they're getting. I'm like, Miami beat us too. Are you not upset about that? Yeah, I think it would be cool. And I realized the first one was Michigan, but it'd be cool for the Big Ten to win the last 3 national championships. After so many years of hearing how they're clearly second fiddle behind the SEC, now it's going to be hard to argue that.
I'm with you on that. I still don't like to claim that one that was a couple years ago.
I don't either.
So,
but
let's say two national championships in a row for the conference.
We got to give it to him. Stallions, Isaiah's twin brother, Connor Stallions, was gone by then.
And going back to the betting perspective on this national championship game, I really feel strongly like the 8.5. I like the plus 8.5 with Miami, but maybe my favorite bet in the entire game is probably going to be to take the under in the first half between Indiana and Miami, because I do think there will be a national championship game. There will be a little nerves, right? It'll be a little bit slower starting, and I do think that both of these teams want to really establish the run game. Both like to run the ball, and I think Miami with Fletcher, they're going to try and pound it. It's a stadium that has tended, as far as over the years, has tended to like equate to more unders than overs. So I kind of like taking the under for the first half. That's probably one of my favorite plays for the championship game.
I like that. It's very specific, and I love it. And, Miami, they have a slow pace of play to add to your point. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the game tomorrow night. Real quick, I want to bounce back to that speaking of exciting, Buffalo and Denver game. I didn't even bring up because it was such an exciting game, and there was the controversial calls, goes to overtime, as I heard you say on the call-in show with Ryan Baker. It's an unbelievable stat. Josh Allen now 0-7 in overtime games in his career, including 0-3 in the playoffs. I didn't even mention Bo Nix broke his ankle. He's out for the rest of the year. So now Jarrett Stidham, who's thrown as many passes in the NFL over the last 2 years as you and I have, and Isaiah combined.
Right.
0. He hasn't played at all because Bo Nix has taken like every snap for them the last couple of years. Man, so whoever wins today between the Pats and the Texans has a really good. Now, still, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to go to Denver. I'm sure Peyton's going to get Stidham at least competent level, maybe. And they have a really good defense playing at home. But, man, that's going to be a good opportunity for the Texans or the Pats.
So betting perspective on that change. And that really sucked when we found out that Bo Nix was going to be out, because I was excited for, this is going to be a good AFC championship game, all that stuff. And now I kind of doubt that it will be a great game. But for me, looking at the betting perspective, so either way, whoever wins today, the Patriots or the Texans, were going to be a 3.5-point underdog at the Broncos. That was the look-ahead line. Whoever wins today, underdog in Denver. And now it's such a switch with Stidham in there that whoever wins today is going to be a 3-point favorite. So it is at least a 3-point favorite. So it's a 6.5-point swing with Bo Nix being out and Stidham in. And you brought it up, but it's been 749 days since Jared Stidham has thrown a pass in the NFL.
Slow start for the Broncos, I'm assuming. I can't be sure. The first drive, probably not a touchdown. I wouldn't bet that.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Imagine if it is Texans and Broncos, we might be looking at like a 10-7, a 13-10 type game with how good the defenses are and how the offenses have been struggling for both those teams. With Stidham in there, I would say.
With a former Ohio State quarterback with a chance to go to the Super Bowl if he's able to do it today. Speaking of that, up next, we're going to take a look at NFL playoff betting today. This is On the Money.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease with 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2/2.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It may be winter outside, but inside the Ohio Expo Center, it's golf season. The Columbus Golf Show is back for 3 days only, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Save up to 70% on golf equipment, accessories, and apparel, even vacation packages. Test the newest clubs, compete in skills competitions for great prizes, and get a free lesson from a PGA pro. Come tee it up indoors at the Ohio Expo Center, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. For tickets, go to columbusgolfshow.com.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's going to be a chilly one for us today with high temperatures in the low to mid 20s today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds and wind chills staying in the teens for the most part. It'll be blustery with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Some areas of light snow are possible overnight. Looks like less than an inch. Not a big impact there, but heading into Monday, it is going to be a cold one. Temperatures fall through the teens throughout the day with a gusty wind up to 30 miles an hour with any light snow ending early. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. And now back to a show featuring two dudes who've been kicked out of their homes by angry wives. This pretty much sums up every show we have here on The Fan. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
What a Sunday morning. That game yesterday, I still can't get over how wild and crazy that Bills-Broncos game was. I was driving home from the casino and got the news then about Bo Nix and him being out for the AFC Championship game, which really kind of sucks, kind of takes the excitement a little bit out of that. But what a game that was. And then watching the game last night where Seattle just looked absolutely incredible from the very start, where you have the kickoff return for a touchdown and just that stadium, like that home field advantage. It just feels like it's going to be really tough for the Rams or the Bears, whoever wins today, to have to go to Seattle and win there.
I was trying to tell you guys this last week. Isaiah, when we did Convince Me, he liked your Eagles more than he liked.
No, I like the Broncos. I like Big's
right.
Broncos.
Okay, that's what it was. I had the Seahawks. That's right. You like the Broncos.
What a call by me on the Eagles.
Now,
huh?
I mean, I definitely predicted that Bo Nix would break his ankle. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And you look at today, I don't know how you feel about this. Like, and I love the story of the Patriots because Mike Vrabel, love Mike Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. He's going back to where he won Super Bowls. Now he's the coach, turns them around. Boom. In year one, they won like 3 games last year. That being said, I like the Texans today. Now they're a 3.5-point dog. They're on the road. But I really love their defense. And I know C.J. Stroud's, his ball security's not been good, but that's not been like a typical thing with him. I think that's like more of an aberration than a trend. And I've heard a lot of people talk about, oh, he's just fumbling this. Yeah, if you look at just last week, yeah, or maybe if you look at a couple games. But overall, that's never been a problem with him. I like the Texans today.
Yeah.
I just do. I think they're going to get it done.
So last week against the Steelers, C.J. Stroud had a lot of issues, right?
Yeah.
Fumbling the ball, fumbling snaps, kind of missing open receivers, all that stuff. I think he bounces back today. I really do. It's going to be it's a weather game. It's going to be a defensive battle. And like, I like getting the plus 3.5 that you said. And I'd love to see them pull off the upset. I really would. And look, we got multiple Buckeyes on both teams. So Houston, and for me, at this point in the NFL playoffs, I'm kind of rooting for Buckeyes, right? Because I don't really have a dog in the hunt as far as a team goes. So seeing C.J. Stroud, seeing Tommy Togiai, Cade Stover, those are the Texans. And then on the other side, you have the Patriots. You've got Travion Henderson, and he's easy to root for, and he's had a really good rookie year. And you got Mike Vrabel on the sidelines. I still think it would be really, really cool. Now knowing after, Bo Nix going out, I think it'd be really cool to see C.J. Stroud starting a Super Bowl game. And so I am pulling for the Texans today. As far as the spread goes, I think the plus 3.5 points makes sense. I do worry a little bit with Nico Collins out.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, it'd be so cool to, as you mentioned, seeing C.J. Stroud in the Super Bowl, because I can't remember. There's never been an Ohio State starting quarterback that's been a starting quarterback in a Super Bowl, I don't think. Mike Tomczak won a Super Bowl ring his rookie year with the Chicago Bears in 1985 as the number 3 quarterback. But, yeah, I don't think we've – and we can think of Super Bowls over the years. Like, I think of the one that had Eddie George and Orlando Pace in it when it was the Titans versus Rams, how cool that was. And then Eddie got it going and kind of brought the Titans back, along with Steve McNair. And we've seen other times, like Santonio Holmes won the MVP as a wide receiver in the Super Bowl. We've seen a lot of Buckeyes in Super Bowls, prominent Buckeyes play big roles. We've never seen a quarterback. Well, that'd be awesome.
It would be really cool. And the other thing is, if you have the Texans versus Seahawks, you would also have one of the best players in Jackson Smith and Jigba on the field.
And those two are tight.
Yeah.
They're tight.
So that's kind of a fun perspective. I'm on the plus 3.5 with you on Houston. I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game with the weather and with how good the defenses are for both teams. I feel like the under 40.5 might make sense. The later game, the Rams and the Bears. Okay, we're talking a 6:30 start tonight, and we are talking about single-digit temperatures out there in Chicago. This is going to be one of those true hardcore playoff freezing games that I can't wait to watch.
The indoor LA Rams coming to Soldier Field in 2-degree weather. It's going to be one of the coldest games in NFL history. The coldest, I believe, was the 1981 AFC Championship game between the Bengals and the Chargers. Dan Fouts and the San Diego Chargers came to Cincinnati. The temperature that day was minus 9 degrees in Cincinnati. And do I have to say it was in Cincinnati? It wasn't in San Diego where it was minus 9. And then the wind chill made it feel like minus 49. And like now, that was the first time, at least the Bengals claim this, that's when the sleeveless offensive linemen took off. The Bengals offensive line with Anthony Munoz and Dave Lapham and all those guys said, we're going to go out there sleeveless. And that's when that kind of started. And the Chargers were like, these guys are crazy. It's like almost minus 50 with the wind chill. And they're out here with no sleeves on. And they took it to them. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, lost to the 49ers as they tend to do, or the LA Rams. But, yeah, man, I don't know how I feel about this one today because I've been high on the Rams, but, like, they're favored by 3.5 at Chicago. I think I might stay away from this one. I don't have a good feel. What's your feel?
I'm sticking with my gut in the Rams because I still feel like Chicago has been a little bit lucky to get to this point. And so for me, the Rams are number 1 in turnover differential. 27th in total penalties. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of luck involved with the Bears being at this point and pulling off that win over the Packers. But you're right in the fact that, gosh, you're talking about an indoor team, LA, that's coming and playing in these single digits. Like, it gives me the hesitation. I want to take the Rams because I feel like almost across the board, they're more talented than the Bears. But that weather and that stadium, watching how that stadium reacted last week and how they kind of willed the Bears to the win over the Packers, I'm still going to lean Rams. but that stadium and the temperature gives me hesitation.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay away from it because I do think the Rams are the better team, but they're favored by 3.5. Like, I guess if I had to bet on it, I would take the Bears to cover. I would stay away from the money line. I could, 3.5 getting that hook, kind of like the Bears on the point spread. And it's going to be a really good coaching matchup. I mean, everybody knows Sean McVay is a excellent coach. I feel like he's almost still like underrated, if that makes any sense. Everybody knows he's great, but I feel like we don't talk about him enough. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1, and he's got his team playing well once again. All right, speaking of NFL head coaches, how about Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons, John Harbaugh to the Giants? Your thoughts? Yeah,
it was interesting. We knew that Kevin Stefanski wasn't going to be out for very long, right? And I think he goes to Atlanta that's got a lot of offensive talent. It's funny because it feels like he goes from one of the absolute worst offenses as far as talent goes, and especially quarterback. And now he goes to an offense that it feels like has a ton of weapons with Atlanta. So it'll really be interesting. It's a complete change. I think it's a good hire for Atlanta. I think it makes sense, and I think it's a good move for Stefanski. So yeah, I think it's a good one. And as far as Harbaugh goes to the Giants, we talked about how you kind of power ranked the open jobs in the NFL. I think everybody would probably put the Steelers at number 1 because of the franchise and the stability that they always have as far as their coaching. But the Giants are kind of right there as far as we're right there as far as the open jobs, because it feels like they've got their quarterback. They've got a really good defense. They're young. It looks like they are on the up. And so it makes sense. Now they paid a lot of money, but they got I think a really good experienced coach.
Where do you put the Ravens at? Like along the same lines as what you said about the Steelers, and as a Bengal fan, it ticks me off knowing how great those organizations are, because the Ravens have a really good organization too, owner
and quarterback.
Exactly. But like you're talking about, like the front office, it's just top shelf. It's just Biscotti, Ozzie Newsome. I mean, their GM, they're just DaCosta. It ticks me off how good they are in the front office. And the Bengals have like Duke Tobin running the front office.
Yeah, I know. That's another one. Like it is very interesting. I've been a little bit surprised at some of the names that have been linked to the Ravens. You get rid of Harbaugh, you feel like, okay, you better have lined up a name that like this guy is absolutely going to succeed. I saw McDaniel kind of interviewed there. I thought that was kind of interesting that he would be on their short list. Kind of interesting. But we're going to switch gears next. Well, Dave and I spent about an hour on this just talking at the casino, and we're like, hey, let's make a segment out of this. We're going to be talking about defunct sports shows from the past that we loved. Can't wait to do that. We're going to do it in 2 minutes. This is On the Money.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Here, care is where you need it. With over 350 primary care providers in Central Ohio, expert care is minutes away. See how we care for all of you at mountcarmelforyou.com. Here, heart care helps you heal faster. Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at mountcarmelforyou.com.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Scotty Vegas is still offering player props at his kids' soccer games. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money, 97.1 The Fan. Dave Biddle, Scotty Vegas, Isaiah Jacob. All right. Scotty and I, as he was saying previously at the casino last night, we were talking about sports shows that no longer exist that we really loved. And we're going to talk about some of those right now. Scotty, we can go back and forth. You can name a couple. I'll name a couple. We'll go. I'm sure we have some of the same ones on our list, but the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, and we started going back and forth, and we got a list going of a couple, and then it was like, oh yeah, what about this one? Oh, what about that one? And so we're like, hey, we got to do this on the show. This is so
a segment.
Good.
That's a segment.
I'm sure that listeners also have shows that they absolutely loved, whether it was a decade ago or 20, 25 years ago. We all have shows that no longer exist in sports that we absolutely love. And one that I'm going to bring up to start out was I loved NFL Primetime.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
From
Louisville. Yep. Like everything about Chris Berman and Tom Jackson on a Sunday night. Like I still remember in my parents' basement watching NFL Primetime at like 7:30 at night.
Oh, it was appointment viewing for sure.
And we would make like in the basement a football field, and we would throw socks, and those would be our footballs, and that would be our Sunday night tradition is playing football.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Exactly, rumbling, bumbling. And
prime
time for me. And I know they've had different versions of it, and I know they've thrown it on different like ESPN Plus platform and all that stuff. I miss the old school NFL Primetime. So that's one. Another one that I remember, I would get home from school and watch Up Close.
Yes.
I don't know why, but like it would be like you would have like a half-hour interview with some of your favorite athletes, and I'm talking back in the day it was like Roy Firestone
before Chris Myers took over.
Yes. And you'd like he would get like some of these athletes to be crying, and everything would be all emotional and all that stuff. Up Close was one, and then I'm going to throw another one out at you.
Okay.
Best damn sports show, period. They had so many funny different guests on that one. It was like John Kruk was on there. John Sally was on there. I think Chris Rose was the main host.
Tom
Arnold was on there. John Kruk.
Yeah, John Kruk. And was Rob Dibble on there, I believe?
I think Dibble, Dibble for a while.
And that's how... People might not like this. That's how Stephen A. Smith got his start on TV. He was actually a newspaper reporter in Philadelphia at the time, and they would bring him on. I'm like, this guy's pretty intense. Little did we know he's going to be at one point making like $50 million doing this job. All right, those are some good ones, man. I mean, I loved NFL Primetime, and there's just so many other ones. All right, here's some that I came up with. One of them is a relatively new show that is, well, not new, but it went off the air just a few years ago. And another one's from my childhood. All right, these are my two favorites. Okay, Outside the Lines. I loved Outside the Lines. And I wasn't even a huge Bob Lee fan, but I just loved the concept of the show. And they kind of kept it around for a while. Then they made it like it was a daily show for a while. It was like in the afternoon. It was so
That's
good.
right. Because Jeremy Schaap, right?
Yeah, well, Bob Lee and then Jeremy Schaap. Yeah. Bob Lee was the one for years. And I like the, I mean, obviously I like watching sports, but I like the business side of sports and like the outside lines part of sports. And it wasn't always great, but like most of the time it was really, really good. So Outside the Lines, one from my childhood that I loved. I absolutely loved. The show was on once a week, This Week in Baseball.
Oh, yes.
I told you I was going to show my age in this segment, but yeah, This Week in Baseball was awesome.
They would play that during a lot of rain delays too. I'd be a Braves fan watching TBS, and it was either you'd watch the Beverly Hillbillies reruns or you'd get This Week in Baseball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, a few more. I already said best damn sports show, period, NFL Primetime. All right, here's one. Okay, again, showing my age. Every Sunday morning, this is before the time of TiVo or
I know where
DVRs.
this is going.
Yep, Buckeye Replay.
Oh, Oh, no, this is different than what I thought.
What they would do, like every so I would be like a little kid like in the Dayton area. And then obviously when I moved to Columbus, before people, I mean, you could record games on your VCR at the time. They would have this hour show every Sunday morning just replaying the highlights of the Ohio State football game from the previous day. And it would be like the radio call from the Ohio State, but it would be like their own. They wouldn't, I guess sometimes they would use maybe the CBS feed. I think most of the time they would use like the All 22, and it was just awesome. It was just highlights of Ohio State from the previous day. So Buckeye replays on there. I'll throw a couple more at you just to show my age.
Before you do that, when you said Sunday morning, I thought you were going with the sports reporters.
That's on my list. Now, the problem with that show is they had guys like Mitch Albom on that I didn't like at all.
Mike Lupica. Bob Ryan.
I think I like Bob Ryan.
I
like Bob Ryan.
See, and when that show was on, I was probably like 10, 12, 14.
Yeah.
And it was Sunday morning, and it was like, all right, I'm watching, what at that time felt like 80-year-olds sitting around the table.
That's the thing. I only liked like half the guys on there because I didn't like Lupica at all. I didn't like Mitch Albom at all. But those are okay. Let me get a few more here so I can show my age. George Michael's Sports Machine. Do you remember this at all? I was a little kid.
I don't.
I was a little kid when that was on. Okay. Sports Night, ESPN2. So that was like Kenny Mayne and Susie Colbert. Susie Colbert and Keith Olbermann. I got a few more, but I want to kick it back. I'm going to kick it.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple more that I wrote down.
And we can kick it to Isaiah too.
Yep. And Isaiah is much, much, much younger than we are.
Yes, he is.
Only 27 years of life over here, so not many shows have begun and ended since I've lived, but I have a couple.
He's like, what is the George Michael Sports Machine?
I don't even know that one. I'm 41.
You'll have to look it up.
Isaiah's 27, so we got a little bit of a difference there.
I'm in my 40s, barely.
So two more that I wrote down that I absolutely love. Stump the Schwab.
Oh, I got that one too.
Okay. I loved Stump the Schwab.
Yes.
And wish that would come back.
I know.
The sports trivia shows for me, for whatever reason, I'm almost always in on watching those.
That's when I realized that I wasn't the smartest I seriously thought if there was a sports trivia show, I would just run the table. And then I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, like 1/3 as much as this guy does.
I'm going to throw out at you Pros versus Joes.
That's a good one.
And this is one that where they would do Dream Job. And this is one where our guy Dave Holmes
got his start on that.
Actually was on, and it was a show where basically people are trying to become Sports Center anchors. And it was kind of a reality show for a while, and they would have tryouts and do a lot of different things.
The guy from Big Ten Network was the first one.
Dave Revson, right?
No,
Mike Hall.
Mike Hall.
Yep, you're right.
Not quite on Dave Holmes' level. Is Mike Hall.
So,
in my opinion,
that was another one that I absolutely loved. Let's get Isaiah, the younger take, and then back to you.
Cool.
See, well, a couple of that I had, Pros versus Joes was on my list. I love that one. Another one, too, that I loved growing up was Sports Science. Whenever they did the sports science segments,
good call.
I loved watching those. A couple more. In the mornings, every morning as a child, I always watched Mike and Mike, the original one back in the day. And then the final one, every single day when I got home from school, the same show was always on. And I think it ended maybe a year ago.
Around the Horn.
Every day. I loved Around the Horn. Woody Page, Jay Adonde, Tim Kalishaw, all my favorites.
Do you remember when Max Kellerman briefly?
Yes.
Okay, you do remember.
He was the original one. He was. They moved over to Tony
Reale, who had it for like many, many years. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, some of my other ones here. I don't know if this counts. You guys can let me know if this counts. Half-hour Sports Center in the 90s. Because Sports Center still exists.
Yep.
But it's like not the same
feel-good
show.
edition.
Exactly. All it needed was a half hour. My guys would I lived in Morrill Tower my freshman year at Ohio State, and I lived in a suite. So I had 7 other guys in our suite at Morrill Tower. We would just watch the same Sports Center over and over and over and over again from the previous night, the Feel Good edition. So Sports Center in the 90s was awesome. I already said Outside the Lines. ABC's Worldwide of Sports.
Yep.
I just like the thrill
of sports.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I think I just like the intro. Because some of the sports I really wasn't into. It's kind of like some weird sports. All right. Does this count, guys? American Gladiators.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that.
Yes, that counts.
Okay, good. There's so much good stuff there. Here's one. Okay, shout out to Willow Bay. NBA Inside Stuff.
Oh, yes. Ahmad Rashad, right?
Ahmad Rashad, Willow Bay. All right, here's one I'm really going to show my age. Okay, this featured Johnny Bench, Tommy Lasorda, and the San Diego Chicken. The Baseball Bunch. You guys will have to look it up. It was a great show. When I was like 5 years old, it was my favorite show in the world. All right, Baseball Tonight.
Yeah.
I used to be like on a date with my high school girl, and I'd be like rushing home to watch Baseball Tonight and tick her off because I wanted to watch baseball.
Careful where you go with this story.
I already cleaned it up. Did you notice that? I'd say I was on.
I know the story.
Yeah, well, I cleaned it up. And then you already mentioned NFL primetime. Did we say cold pizza yet?
That's what I wrote down really big right here. That was going to be the next thing I said, because we talk about what we've got now, which is that first take, which I don't like at all. But it was really cold pizza that kind of got the first take party started, right? Because it was Jay Crawford and Dana Jacobson. So you had an Ohio State host and a Michigan host, as far as fans go. And they did this little segment during Cold Pizza that was first take, right? And I think it was
Skip Bayless
and Woody Page.
Yes, it was Woody before Stephen A. You're right.
Yes, and so they would have the debate, and they go back and forth, and it was called Cold Pizza, and I liked it. Like it was kind of like what is now Get Up, where they had a lot of roaming guests that would kind of reappear and stuff like that. But I kind of like that show
because I like Jay Crawford a lot.
Yeah,
and even though Dana Jacobson is a Michigan gal, I always thought she was like good.
Yeah, they were good together. It was good for the rivalry, to have both of those guys hosting a main show on ESPN.
And you're right, that was the genesis of the sports debate shows like First Take. So I don't know if we should give it too many props.
Well,
that was
Sports Reporters was too, right?
Kind of, yeah. You're right. That was like people at the retirement village chatting about sports reporters.
Oh, my gosh.
You said that, not me.
And it's funny you brought up the half-hour sports centers, because every day before school, I would watch the back-to-back morning sports centers. But what would drive me crazy back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, you probably do, is you would have a sports center, and then they would have like a half-hour like workout video. Like they would go to like some hot location and people would be just like lifting weights. Like it was sport, and it's like, I want sports highlights. I don't want to be watching people lifting weights. But that was the sports center before they started airing it. Basically they would air it all morning. But before they did that, there was a time where they'd have like an hour of sports center, and then it would be like workout videos.
So we had our latest sports gambling scheme that was undercovered this week, and it involves college basketball. I'm going to ask Scotty, is it good that these things are being caught, or is this a sign that sports gambling might be going off the rails in our country? That's up next on The Money.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
New year, new you, new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus, and the deals are built tough. Drive home the all-new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% financing for up to 48 months. Need more muscle? The 2026 Toyota Tundra delivers with 2.99% financing for up to 72 months, or take $3,000 in customer cash. Germain Toyota has the truck and the deal you've been waiting for. Shop today at Germain Toyota of Columbus, where selection, value, and trust come standard. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook restaurant and bar, like Biscoff stuffed French toast, country Benedict, or roast beef hash skillet. Yummy.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
For the past 100 years, Shriners Children's has become family to over 1.5 million kids.
In tough times and good times, they're there when we need them most.
Please go online right now to loveshriners.org.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Dave Biddle named his own dog Parlay. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
And speaking of Hollywood Casino Columbus, our favorite place, the Sportsbook, it was rocking yesterday for the NFL playoff games. It was standing room only. We did a little heads and tails tournament yesterday. That was a lot of fun. It was so much fun that we ended up doing it twice because so many people wanted to participate in it. So that was cool. And just a reminder, we are going to be back out there for the Super Bowl. So we can't wait for that. That'll be a lot of fun. That's always a fun day. We're going to do a show before the game, so get out there early and get your reservations in at HollywoodColumbus.com, because from what I'm told, they're adding additional tables for the Super Bowl, but it is already filling up, and they got a lot of really cool things planned for that day. So HollywoodColumbus.com. All right, we've been talking about different shows and different sports shows that no longer exist that we loved while we were growing up. I threw out things like cold pizza and up close and best damn sports show period and NFL primetime. And Dave, you threw out baseball tonight, wide world of sports.
This week in baseball. Outside the lines.
And what's great is in the YouTube chat, we've gotten a lot of participation from you on some of your favorite shows that no longer exist. And so I'll read off a couple of those. PBS used to replay OSU Sunday mornings in the 80s. As a kid, I had no idea who was going to win, but I'd always watch the replay of those games.
That was Buckeye Replay.
Yeah, so that was from Jamie Bell. We have Sports Nation from Amadeo. Oh, Amadeo Della Valle's burner says.
There we go.
How about that name from the past? Amadeo Della Valle. I love that. But he says Sports Nation. Craig misses Around the Horn now. Mike Tyson's cartoon. I don't know if I know that one.
I don't recall that.
All-Star cartoon with Bo, Jordan, and Gretzky. What else we got? Football Friday night on Saturday morning was a great high school football show. A couple more for WWE. A lot of fun stuff, and we got a wide world of sports. A lot of good ones.
What about NFL Today when it was just a half hour, and it was, again, I'm showing my age, and it was Brent Musburger and the crew, and they would come in and be like, Brent would start every show with, "You're looking live."
You're looking live.
Yes. I mean, you're looking live at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Like, that was awesome. Jimmy the Greek would have to, they couldn't really talk about gambling, but they did.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so much funny how things have changed.
Oh, man, have things changed.
I just liked the half-hour pregame show. It was like appointment watching for me, and now I don't watch pregame shows at all. I turn the NFL games on at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So I used to watch a little bit of the Fox one years ago, but it's been years since I've really sat down to watch a pregame show. I got to tell you, it's probably in the single digits as far as minutes that I've watched an NFL pregame show this season. Like it's on by accident, maybe, but that's about it.
They need to bring Frank Caliendo back. I think ESPN had him one year doing their pregame show, and I'd make sure I knew when Frank Caliendo was on, and then Fox had him for I think a couple years. Frank Caliendo is. And he's friends with our boy, Anthony Roth.
That's right.
All right. And I do want to ask you this since I teased it. All right. So I don't have a strong opinion on this, but when I read, it doesn't matter. Every time there's a new sports gambling scheme and I read a story, let's say it's on The Athletic, I can predict what the comments are going to say. There's going to be someone saying, "Oh, everything's going off the rails. Gambling's out of control." And there's going to be somebody else that says, "No. Because there's guardrails in place and regulations and everything, this is why this stuff is being caught so much. This is why we're seeing it. It's because it's now regulated and it's being caught." Scotty Vegas, are you one of these guys that's like, okay, this is a good thing because it's being caught, and if it was offshore and there was no regulation, it wouldn't be caught? Or are you of the opinion, this could go off the rails?
So here's the deal for me. Unfortunately, scandals are so often right now in sports betting that I see them and I kind of just shrug my shoulders at this point. It's like, okay, we're going to go, if we go a month without a sports betting scandal, it's an upset, right? And in fact, it might be time that we start offering up odds on when the next sports betting scandal is going to come out, because obviously, you had the baseball one, unfortunately, with Cleveland earlier this year. We've had big names involved. Shohei, that whole deal was a huge thing.
Yes.
We've had, obviously, the NBA, coaches involved. Now we're talking college basketball. I feel like it's just nonstop. Now, sports betting scandals have always been going on, but as you said, we're finding out more about them because of the legalized sports gambling market. But it's almost like scandals in sports betting, at this point, I don't pay attention unless it's a huge name being suspended at this point.
We even had the Alabama baseball coach
That's right.
getting suspended because of a sports betting scandal.
We should almost power rank the most interesting sports betting scandals over the last 5 years. It is getting that crazy. And Alabama coach might be number one.
Yeah,
the baseball coach.
The Guardians pitchers is an interesting one.
Shohei one is that because of the name.
I'm still not convinced that he knew nothing about that. Okay, because did you see the Dodgers? Did you see their celebration at all, or at least part of it? Any highlights of it? My guy speaks fluent English. fluent English, but he needed a translator. He didn't know what was going on. We're not talking about a few $1,000s either. And I know for Otani, trust me, I know Otani, for millions of dollars for him is like thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of dollars for us. I get it. That's a lot of money to not. That got swept under the rug big time. I still feel, part of me, I don't know for sure. Part of me feels like the interpreter took the fall for him.
Well, and the sad thing, Dave, is I'm trying to think in my head if there's any sports that have been immune to gambling issues. And you think about it, we've had the baseball one this year.
Has college football had one?
Yes, college football has had issues. College basketball has had issues. NFL, we've seen it. So I think the only one that I can think of that we haven't necessarily seen a big sports betting scandal on is NHL.
That's gosh.
Like tennis even has had it.
During the second hour of the show, there's going to be an NHL betting scandal. Let's just hope it doesn't involve the Blue Jackets. By the way, poor Chris Holtman in that indictment, it referred to DePaul as the worst team in the Big East. They didn't even refer to it as DePaul, as just the worst team in the Big East. All right, first hour of the show is in the books. Please stick around for the second hour. This is On the Money.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move, a pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon. I am Isaiah Jacob. Last night, a couple thrillers in the NFL. We had the Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks ended up rolling in that game 41-17. 28-6. Then we moved on to the Denver Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills, in which the Broncos ended up winning in overtime, 33-30. Post-game, Sean Payton got to discuss Bo Nix's injury. Unfortunately, Bo Nix did have a fractured ankle in that one. Yesterday, Buckeye Hoops ended up rolling against UCLA, an 86-74 victory. And then also, CBJ wins 4 in a row last night, beating the Penguins 4-3. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Some people golf on Sunday mornings. Some people place bets on the people playing golf on Sunday mornings. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money, 97.1 The Fan. I am Dave Biddle. I am joined by Scott Prokop. We like to call him Scotty Vegas. We have producer Isaiah Jacob at the controls. And guys, it is time for the parlay party. Hit it, Isaiah. All right, parlay party is where we celebrate anything we want to celebrate. Could be a nice parlay that we hit. Could be anything at all. Scotty Vegas, what are you celebrating today?
Buckeye basketball. That's what I'm celebrating. Nice win yesterday over UCLA in a game that they absolutely had to have. Kind of a showcase game, too, I felt like, for Ohio State. In the fact that you had your game opposite, where you didn't have any NFL going on at the same time. So you got a little bit more audience, more eyes on you. You had Bill Raftery in the house. You know me. I love me some Bill Raftery.
He's great.
A little lingerie on the deck. In fact, I will say, and I caught myself. So I'm coaching my son's basketball team. And there was a pretty sweet, nifty play. And I'm coaching, and I'm on the sideline. I'm like, oh, a little lingerie. And then I stopped there. But
Scotty taunting the other team when he's the head coach of a 5th grade basketball game.
4th and 5th grade boys.
4th and 5th grade. That is the most Scotty Vegas thing
and
ever.
it was a heck of a crossover. Made the hoop and a little lingerie on the deck.
That's hilarious.
But no, it was awesome to see Bill Raftery and Ohio State coming away with a win that they had to have. This is a team that I think is going to be on that tournament bubble probably throughout this entire year. That goes a long way because UCLA is another team that is right on the verge of the tournament. So that was a big win, good win for the Buckeyes yesterday. Also celebrating the fact that we had a awesome time at the casino watching that Bills-Broncos game.
Great.
I mean, the emotions that we went through. We're in the casino, and pretty much the entire room is Bills fans because they had all bet on the Bills.
They were jumping on tables and everything.
Yeah. I ran into one Broncos fan, and she was so sweet. She was like in the corner at her own table because there were so many Bills fans. She was like just real quiet. She was biting her nails, watching the end of the game, and it was intense. But that just goes back to what I say about there is no place like watching a game at Hollywood Casino and in a sports book because you get the range of emotions, because generally you're not going to find a ton of Bills or Broncos fans in Columbus, but at the casino, everybody becomes a fan of somebody because you're rooting on your bets. So that's what I'm celebrating this Sunday. Dave, what are you celebrating?
Yeah, I'm celebrating. It was a good week for Ohio State football. Everybody was freaking out, and I understand it's a shock to the system when you see things like 30 scholarship players have transferred out of Ohio State, but how many of those guys that they really want to keep? A few of them for sure, like Quincy Porter and guys like that, Aaron Scott, Bryce West. But like most of those guys were not really in the mix to not only be starters, but not really in the 2 deep either. So they lost a lot of guys, and then they weren't getting a lot of guys. But now they've gone on a run. They now have 16 guys they've brought in from the portal. And yeah, they've lost 30. 100 times out of 100, Scotty, as Buckeye fans, we would take the trade of the 16 they're bringing in compared to the 30 they're losing. So the Buckeyes, been a good week for them in the transfer portal, and happy about that. Yeah, and Ohio State hoops yesterday. Like, I have an irrational hate for Mick Cronin, as you know. It goes back to like when he turned in Ohio State for Damon Flint, getting like a $50, like a little lunch on the side when he was, because the rule is you could do it on campus. They went barely off campus to Damon's, ironically. Damon Flint, they took him to Damon's.
Mill Run Damon's?
And I believe so, because it wasn't Mill Run. It was when they used to have one on like near Olentangy River Road.
Oh, okay.
I believe. So it was barely off campus.
I was a Mill Ron Damon's guy.
This is never. I don't think this is public knowledge, but it's knowledge within like the people who cover college basketball. Mick Cronin was a low-level assistant under Huggins at the time. Like, he wasn't even like a full-time assistant. He's the one that turned Ohio State in because he found out about it, and then Damon Flint couldn't. So I've hated Mick Cronin ever since, and he's done things to add fuel to the fire. Remember, it was either last year or 2 years ago, he was saying how tough he was, and all his players at UCLA weren't as tough as him.
Yep.
Even Jay Billis called him out on it. He's like, really? You think you're tougher than all of these guys? Like, have you ever seen Mick Cronin in person?
He's an angry little guy.
He's a little munchkin, a little leprechaun, and I've never liked that guy. So seeing Ohio State take it to him, and a couple different times, his face was this bright red, and it looked like he was going to get kicked out of the game. Here's another thing I liked. Okay, Buckeye fans, just stay with me here for a second. So I get to the casino, and Ohio State's just putting it on them, and now it's all the way up to 15.5 UCLA. I'm like, all right, I bet Ohio State's going to win, but maybe not by that much. So I put a bet on UCLA 15.5. I also got one at 13.5. So the Buckeyes win by 12. I cashed both my bets, and Mick Cronin had a long plane ride home. I think hopefully he watched The Irishman. Very long plane ride home, and I'm definitely celebrating that. And just being at the casino yesterday before I hand it over to Isaiah, who knew a heads-tails contest could be that
it was
exhilarating?
Crazy.
And we did two of them. It was like the most exciting thing. It was just a heads-tails contest. It was awesome. Isaiah, what are you celebrating?
Celebrating the Buckeyes getting the big win yesterday. It felt like that was a must-win. Like, after going out west, obviously splitting with Oregon and Washington, there wasn't a lot of room for us to drop another one, especially because UCLA was like right in the same spot we are. Like, they're kind of on the edge right now. Really needed that win, so that was huge for the Buckeyes. Also, Mick Cronin, I believe, refused to do a post-game press conference after the game ended.
He did like 7 seconds,
Did he?
and he said, put this on me. Like, I recruited these guys. I don't know why he talks like he has a Southern accent. He's from Ohio, but he totally does. Yeah, I recruited these guys. He's like, I picked up these guys in free agency, so put it on me. So basically, he was like, put it on me as I'm throwing my terrible players under the bus.
Love that from Mick Cronin.
He sucks.
He's the worst. It was nothing. I believe yesterday I was doing the broadcast here, and I believe Paul Keels referenced him probably deserving a technical at 6 different points of the game, and continually was talking about how Mick just wouldn't stay in the coach's box, completely disregarding it, was over half court, was underneath the basket, was pretty much everywhere he wasn't supposed to be. So it was fantastic watching Ohio State just handle them, especially in the second half. It never felt close. It was fantastic. The other thing I'm celebrating is these championship games for the NFL. This final 8 teams right now, the best thing about it, in past years, there's always been like 1 or 2 teams I didn't want to win. Like, I really didn't want them to win. I was cheering against the Chiefs. I was constantly cheering against teams where these ones, I'm not cheering against anybody. There's no teams here that I hate, that I don't want to make the Super Bowl. I'm pretty happy with just great games, so it makes it a lot easier to watch these ones with no rooting interest other than betting on them and possibly
they
losing.
love Buckeyes, too. Like, I wasn't liking when we had Super Bowls with, like, the Chiefs and the Eagles who had no Buckeyes. Like, these are the only teams in the NFL that don't have any Buckeyes.
Well, what's great, too, is we got a bunch of relevant Buckeyes, right? So
no doubt.
You got C.J. Stroud, you got Travion Henderson, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, you got big time Buckeyes in huge positions, and that will be fun to watch going forward. I want to go back a little bit. We're going to talk Ohio State football, of course, and I want to get your opinion on offensive coordinator. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But just to illustrate again how big that win for Ohio State hoops was yesterday over UCLA. So I bring up the bracket matrix. And what that is they take all of the bracket projections, NCAA tournament bracket projections, and they kind of compile them and average them all out. And right now on the bracket matrix, they take 77 different brackets and averaging them out. The last team in right now is Ohio State. The first team out is UCLA. So you had to win that one at home. That was a big deal. So getting that win matters. Now, you look at the schedule coming up for Ohio State. You got to win against Minnesota in a big home game. And then this schedule gets really tricky. Like, it is going to be a brutal month of February. I talked about this on the call-in show with Ryan last hour, or in the 8 o'clock hour. But the key to me for this team is, as far as John Mobley and the consistency of John Mobley Jr. So when he plays well, Ohio State wins games. When he doesn't play well, they lose. evidence this last week. So in the Washington game, he had a really bad game. And Ohio State wasn't in that game and ended up losing that game. Against Oregon, he played really well. Ohio State wins. Yesterday, he plays great. 28 points. Ohio State wins easily over UCLA. I think the key for Ohio State is figuring out to keep John Mobley Jr.'s floor from being low, right? To get a higher floor, to get a little bit more consistency. And if they're able to do that, then I think they're going to be a tournament team down the stretch. I think John Mobley Jr. is that important. And I know they're adding Puff Magic Johnson. He is a transfer from originally, he played at North Carolina. He's also played at Penn State last year. He hopefully will add a little bit of depth to this team because I think Ohio State has a good starting five. I think it's a really good Big Ten starting five, but it's been a really bad bench. To put it nicely, it's been a bad bench. Now you add a piece to that bench that's experienced. He's 25 years old. Hopefully that adds a little bit to this bench with experience, and then hopefully eventually you get Brandon Knoll back and you got another piece there. But I think that's very important. Let's raise the level of John Mobley Jr. and get a little bit more consistency out of him. Let's raise that floor, and then let's develop a little bit more of that bench with Puff Johnson.
Yeah, this is the worst Ohio State bench in a long time that I can remember. I mean, yesterday they get 2 points from Big Ivan, and then we had Gabe Cupps. Gabe Cupps actually had 9 points in the win at Oregon, and I was like, oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, my God. And like he's not been doing anything other than that game. I'm with you on Junie Mobley. I don't understand people that are extremely down on him. Like if you told me coming into the year, and you're right, he's inconsistent. I think you nailed it. Like they just need to raise his floor, like you said. But like if you told me coming into the year, basically halfway through the year, Junie's going to be averaging 14.4 points a game, and he's going to be shooting over 40% from three. That's exactly what they need from him. They have a good big three, and I like the way Bynum's coming on. I think Tilly is solid, not great. I agree with you. I like this starting five. It's just the bench is just so bad. But hopefully Puff Johnson can add something. Not that he's as good as Lawrence Funderburk, and he's not like a big man, but like it reminds me a little bit back in the day in 92 when Lawrence Funderburk became eligible around this time. Now, again, Puff's not as good as Lawrence Funderburk was. But, man, they can use anything they can get. If he can be like a solid sixth man, that would be massive for this team. So they're getting nothing out of Chapman. They're getting nothing out of Cupps. They're getting nothing out of Yvonne for the most part. Like, Colin White doesn't add anything. I'm surprised he's even on the team. He got 1 minute yesterday. He adds nothing.
Yeah.
So hopefully Puff can add something.
Yeah. And it's going to be about figuring out the consistency with Mobley, whether this team's going to be a tournament team. And that'll be interesting to watch. Okay. I want to talk to you about Ohio State football, what we're hearing as far as the offensive coordinator. What are we hearing of as far as Matt Patricia? Is he going to be back? We know there were some major moves in the transfer portal over the last week. Hey, Ohio State has a kicker from Baylor. I want to hear all about that next from Dave Biddle. This is On the Money.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill at Billiards Plus. The grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1, 2, 3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra. Exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at MDA.org today.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm an innovation ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
It's a playoff Sunday doubleheader on the Fan. The Texans and Patriots kick things off at 2:30 with the Rams and Bears in the nightcap.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit, $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease with 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2-2.
Save big money on your kitchen projects at Menards. We carry everything you need to turn your kitchen dreams into reality. Renovate your space with new cabinets from Cardell. They're ready to install and come in a variety of styles and finishes with free shipping to your home. Visit our kitchen showrooms in-store or go to Menards.com for free estimates today. Plus, get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook restaurant and bar like Biscoff stuffed French toast, country Benedict, or roast beef hash skillet. Yummy.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's going to be a chilly one for us today with high temperatures in the low to mid-20s today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds and wind chills staying in the teens for the most part. It'll be blustery with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Some areas of light snow are possible overnight. Looks like less than an inch. Not a big impact there, but heading into Monday, it is going to be a cold one. Temperatures fall through the teens throughout the day with a gusty wind up to 30 miles an hour with any light snow ending early. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz with your 10 weather impact forecast.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Scotty Vegas can't even pronounce most of the names of the tennis players he bets on. He doesn't care, as long as they win. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
All right, this segment is all Australian Open preview. No, it's not. Fish would come in here quickly and rip me off the air. This is all Ohio State football, and we've got the Ohio State football insider, Dave Biddle. I've got 4 questions for you.
Okay.
We're going to hit on offensive coordinator. We're going to hit on Matt Patricia. We're going to hit on the transfer portal, and then we're going to hit on a loss for Ohio State. So this is a big-time segment. Let's start out with the offensive coordinator. Who are we hearing? Who are some of the names that are out there? Maybe even a former Buckeye on the list.
Yeah, I've heard, and when I first heard this a couple weeks ago from a source, I was like, I don't know about that. JT Barrett, but I've continued to hear that might be a thing. And then, Scott, if you look at the timing of it, if he was going to promote from within or maybe hire somebody that doesn't have a job right now, team is not playing, he could have done that already. I hope he doesn't promote from within. I don't think he will. And JT Barrett, is still with the Bears in the playoffs as the quarterback's coach, learning under Ben Johnson. So now I want somebody with experience coordinating an offense. I guess I would make an exception for JT Barrett because 2 years as quarterback's coach working under Ben Johnson, that's good business right there. And I would be okay with it. And I trust Ryan Day. I know he had the Kerry Combs hire, but overall he's done a great job bringing in assistant coaches. So, and when is he the best? When he has a veteran offensive coordinator on the staff. Kevin Wilson, Chip Kelly. The 2 years they haven't really been good offense. I mean, they were a good offense this year. They just were bad red zone and short yardage, really bad, was when he didn't have a veteran offensive coordinator on the staff. So I've been hoping for a guy like Todd Monken. That's not going to happen. I'm sure he's going to follow Harbaugh to the Giants and be their offensive coordinator. I believe he's also been up for some head coaching jobs. I don't think he'll get one of those. Brian Daboll is a name that I would really like. That's one that I would probably have him ahead of JT Barrett on my list. And, just looking at our message board on Bucknuts, when JT Barrett's brought up, you have some people like, oh, yeah, I would love to see that. I would say the majority, not a vast majority, would be against that. Now, I bet as soon as it would transpire, people would be on board with JT Barrett. But that's one name I'm hearing is JT Barrett. But I would prefer a Brian Daboll. But if it's JTB, let's roll.
Okay, so let's go with the thought of JT Barrett for a second. So if you are hiring JT Barrett as the offensive coordinator, and again, great experience the last few years under Ben Johnson with both the Bears and a year with the Lions. If you go with JT Barrett, who's calling the plays? Is Ryan Day calling the plays? Do you have a co-offensive coordinator come in with some play calling experience? Is it guys that are currently on the staff? Because obviously JT Barrett doesn't have play calling experience.
That's right. I think you would need to bring in an analyst, not him specifically because he's at Oklahoma now. Maybe he would come back. I don't know. But Kevin Wilson is an analyst at Oklahoma. Something like that, where you have a veteran offensive coordinator who has years of experience doing it. He's been a head coach at Indiana and Tulsa, was really bad at Tulsa. I thought he might do okay there. He's decent at Indiana. He was really bad at Tulsa. Didn't even finish his second year. But somebody like that, I think, if you're going to bring in JT Barrett as your OC, you need to have a veteran analyst on the staff.
Okay, so good stuff there. If I had to pin you down, I hate to put you on the spot on this, but if I had to pin you down for one name right now, are you saying JT Barrett?
Yeah, I've just heard it too many. Not that he's the lead candidate, but I've just heard it from too many sources that, hey, keep your eye on this, keep your eye on it. Again, when I first heard it a couple weeks ago, I was like, that doesn't check out. But now you look at the timing. Does it not make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Timing makes sense.
That he's waiting for the Bears season to end. Yeah,
yes.
Maybe it'll end today. I don't know.
So we might have news relatively soon. Let's go now to the defensive side of the ball. Matt Patricia, still out there as far as whether he's going to be back or not, but sounds like there might be some confidence he's back.
Yes, I talked to a very good source in the Woody earlier this week. I guess it was last week, and this is the first day of the new week. It was midweek last week. I talked to a really good source who told me, I'm like, is Matt Patricia coming back? And they were like, that's the plan. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. They're like, no, it's good. It's just not a done deal yet. We're optimistic he's going to come back. And I was told this is a really good piece of information. If you're a Buckeye fan, that should make you feel good. When these portal guys are coming in, they've done a really good job lately in the portal. The defensive players all meet with Matt Patricia. So you would think, would Ryan Day be doing that if he was right? Would Ryan Day be doing that if he didn't think that Patricia was coming back? Again, with all these NFL jobs, could somebody come in and say, could a Kevin Stefanski come in and say, hey, we'll back up the truck, give you anything you want to be our defensive coordinator? It's possible. That's why it's not a done deal yet. But they are optimistic that Matt Patricia will be back, and that's huge.
Love hearing that. Okay, huge week this week as far as the transfer portal in Ohio State and different additions, including a kicker. You were telling me last night at the casino, you're like, one of the highest clicked on stories on Bucknuts was when Ohio State landed a kicker. And I got to be honest, as far as all the transfers go, I was watching the most highlights of the Baylor kicker and his kicks last year. So, looking at the whole, as far as all the additions for Ohio State, tell me about maybe your favorite 2 or 3 ads for Ohio State for next year.
You mean other than Connor Hawkins, the kicker? Okay, because he's definitely top
He's
of the
my
list.
favorite.
Connor Hawkins for president. I mean, there's a few. I'll start with, he's not necessarily at the top of my list, but he's definitely close. Jacoby Jackson. And I think he's a really good get because he's a veteran running back. He's a downhill runner. And he's not coming here to be RB1. Bo Jackson's going to be RB1. But he needs to be a really good RB2 or RB3 if Isaiah West steps up. I like Isaiah West. Turbo Rogers is going to be in the mix. They want to have a little bit more speed. But Jacoby Jackson was a good get. They need to get a downhill runner, a real bruiser. He's not huge, but I like backs this size. 5'10 and a half, 214 pounds, built like a rock. He really is like a physical runner. Whereas C.J. Donaldson was supposed to be 6'2", 232, but he ran too high. He's a former tight end. He would get knocked backwards all the time. So I think Jacoby Jackson was a good get. And I really like the safety from Duke that Ohio State got. Terry Moore sat out all last year with an injury, but was really good the previous year in 2024. And now he's going to be 2 years removed from that injury. I think he's going to step right in. Is he going to be Caleb Downs? No, he's not going to be Caleb Downs, but he's going to be a good starting safety. I like the linebacker they got from Wisconsin, Christian Alliegro. It's kind of a trade. Ohio State traded Bryce West for Christian Alliegro. I'm joking there a little bit. I like John Walker, the D tackle. I mean, they've done a good job. They haven't landed like somebody who's like an absolute stud, like a Caleb Downs or a Quinshon Judkins, but they've just hit on a lot of solid players. And another thing I'm noticing, and it's a little bit of the Kurt Signetti effect, what are they going after? Guys that have been productive and guys that are veterans, right? And I think if they had to do it all over again, they would not have signed 28 freshmen, because of what you're doing now, you're bringing all these freshmen in, and then their third uncles tell them after a year to look elsewhere. You've wasted all that time recruiting them. You've wasted a year of development on them. You've wasted all that, and they're just going to leave after 1 year.
The Signetti blueprint, right? I mean, how crazy is that? But yes, it is the Signetti effect, and we're seeing teams going after more experience. Okay, last one here. Last question for you. As far as Ohio State and losses, all right, we talked about the additions. We talked about Patricia. We talked about the offense coordinator. What's maybe the biggest loss for Ohio State in the transfer portal?
Probably Quincy Porter, him being a former 5-star. But what I tell Buckeye fans is this: like, if you can't beef up all these other areas like the defensive line and then pay wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, whatever you consider Quincy Porter, he probably would have been wide receiver 4, because whatever you think of Brandon Ennis, he's definitely going to be a starter. He's going to be a senior, 2-time captain. He's going to start. And obviously JJ is going to start. And then I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to start right away. So there's only so much money to go around. So Quincy Porter was a loss. He's going to Notre Dame. Mylan Graham, another guy they wanted to keep. He's going to Notre Dame. I would say Aaron Scott Jr. is another one that I wanted to see them keep around at corner. And I mentioned Bryce West. He was another one. Those are really the only 4 that I was like, ooh. Fahim Delane a little bit as well. But he was more of an in-the-box safety, where Patricia likes his versatile safeties that can cover. Fahim's a really good in-the-box safety. He's not so great in coverage. So, but yeah, I would say the biggest loss is probably Quincy Porter, but it's totally mitigated by the fact that you got Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis, and Chris Henry Jr.
Great stuff, Dave. Appreciate all the information there. You know what's not great is trash. And we have an entire segment dedicated to trash, and we're going to do it in 2 minutes. This is On the Money.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
If you can't find something to bet on, you're not trying hard enough. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money, 97.1 The Fan. I am Dave Biddle, joined by Scotty Vegas. We have our all-star producer, Isaiah Jacob, behind the controls. And we haven't done a segment that we really like in a long time. We haven't even done it with Isaiah at all. It's called That's Trash. Hit it, Isaiah.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more.
That's trash.
All right. This is a very highbrow segment where we just talk about things that really tick us off. Okay. My first one is, you're driving in a neighborhood and you really don't have to. 4 cars can fit on like a residential street, but somebody's parked on the side and you get over so somebody can come and they wave at you,
Sure.
Every once in a while someone doesn't wave. If I knew ahead of time that person wasn't going to wave, I would act like I was going to take them out. No, I'm kidding. It ticks me off. Like I get over, I didn't even have to. I'm being a nice guy, and they just drive by without out the courtesy wave. I'm like, do you not live by the same code as the rest of us humans? So that's trash when someone does that.
I'm with you. And you kind of want to, when they're like mostly all the way through, kind of want to like jolt your car to kind of like scare them. Like you're going to give them a little bump for not giving the wave.
I might or might not do that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you know what was trash was we had such a great football game yesterday. That playoff game was awesome. However, overtime where the Broncos have 47 yards of penalty yards on their winning drive. That was trash because that really ruined what was an incredible game. You had some questionable pass interference calls. As you said it at the start of the show, and I agree completely. In college football, the pass interference is 15 yards. If it's more than 15 yards, it's still 15 yards. In the NFL, it's spot foul no matter what. I almost wish, as you said at the beginning of the show, if it's an egregious call or a receiver is tackled, then spot foul, that's very fair. If it's a ticky-tack, questionable pass interference call, to give up that many yards on the call, that sucks. That's trash. That ruined a great game.
I'm going to complain about college football a lot during this segment, I think, because I'm so upset how the schedule is built. I know people have talked about this before, and someone talked about it in the chat earlier, but it feels like this Miami IU game has lost so much steam. In the whole playoffs, every single round that's went on, ever since the Ohio State-Indiana Big Ten championship game, it's felt like we've lost just a little bit of momentum every single week because of some of these long layoffs. Like, we should never have to wait 2 weeks without college football on a Saturday. We shouldn't have to wait a week and a half without college football on a Saturday. And so the scheduling layout has been so horrible. This game should be so much more hyped up. And then it's also on a Monday. And so right now we're talking about all the NFL stuff that's going on. This game should have been played yesterday. That's trash.
That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage.
That's my favorite one right there.
Mike Gundy.
Little Mike Gundy action. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, like, I just, and if you're not going to do it Saturday, which would be perfect, how about do it tonight? I mean, a lot of people are off work tomorrow because of MLK Day.
Yeah.
You could do it Sunday. Maybe you get the NFL, if you could, because the NFL and college football really are partners. The NFL has a free college or free minor league system. If you could get like today's games to start at 1 o'clock and 4:30 instead of 3 and 6 like they're doing, or 3 and 6:30, whatever it is. Bump those back like it was yesterday. Then have the college football national championship game Sunday night, and then a lot of people have work off tomorrow. It makes too much sense.
Tonight would be perfect for the national championship.
Yes, and Isaiah makes a great point. Like, even on the show today, what are we talking mostly about? We've talked about Indiana and Miami. We talked a decent amount of it. We're talking more about the NFL playoffs than we are the national championship game.
Yeah,
it's a great point, and it's tomorrow night. All right, here we go. You kind of. I already brought it up, and then you brought it up, but I'm going to say it again. One thing that's definitely trash is the pass interference rule in the NFL. Like, it should not be a spot foul. If it's 50 yards down the field and it's ticky-tack, like you said. I'll take it one step further. They say, well, you can't have it can't be a reviewable play. Why not? Why can't it be a reviewable play? Like, that absolutely should be a reviewable play. Well, then holding would have to be. No, you wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't have to make holding a reviewable play. Pass interference absolutely should be a reviewable play, and they need to get rid of the stupid spot foul, which is not get rid of it. If it's egregious, like we said, keep it. But, like, it's the classic, we do it this way because we've always done it this way, and I hate that logic, and that's trash.
I love it because it's trash.
I agree with you. In fact, I think that you should, with your challenges, you should be able to ask for a review on just about anything. Like, maybe even a hold.
Maybe holding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's get the calls correct. If you have the challenges, you have the timeouts, you should have the ability to challenge whatever. That's my opinion. All right. Again, we are back to having betting scandals. And now the latest one is in college basketball, and it was widespread. A lot of teams involved, a lot of colleges involved, mostly smaller schools. DePaul was involved in it.
It's the worst team in the Big East, as they were called in the indictment.
Yeah.
Chris Holtman.
Sadly, we're getting to the point, and I mentioned this last hour, where it's like we're at a point now where betting scandals are just becoming up. Yeah, here's another one. Shrug the shoulders. Here we go. We've obviously had one in just about every sport. Every major sport has had a betting scandal over the last year or two, and it is getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point, Dave, that it's almost like we should set over-unders on when we are going to have the next betting scandal, and maybe we should even have a prop bet out there where you can bet on which sport is going to have the scandal next. Is it going to be NFL plus 150?
Like the prediction markets.
Yeah. Is it going to be college basketball plus 250? Is it going to be tennis minus 150? We are getting to
Probably
that point
tennis.
where it is just happening over and over and over that we're getting immune to it. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, another story. Here we go. And it's trash.
Take out the trash.
All right, my next one is from last night. I was at a bar watching the Seahawks game, and early on that game was out of hand. Obviously, it was a blowout by the 49ers. But one thing I could not stand is I was at a bar that, like, nobody was really that focused on the game, especially, like, once it got out of hand. That, like, the TV sound, it wasn't even on the game. It was on music. They had it on the game for the Broncos-Bills game, and then once the Seahawks started winning, they were like, yeah, we probably can put this off. But there was a guy that was the table right next to me that was a Seahawks fan. And he was going ballistic all the entire game.
Oh,
and so one of the things, like, if I'm a Browns fan watching a Browns game at a Browns bar, it's one thing to be rowdy and cheering when everyone around you is very into the game. It's another thing when the sound isn't even on the TV and you're jumping up and down and screaming. I'm like, dude, you got to read the room here. Like, no one here is even watching the game. You're up by 20 points. Can we bring it down a little bit? And so I think it's trash to be going crazy for your team when you're at a bar that no one else is cheering whatsoever at.
Isaiah, I've got a solution for our guy. Go to the sports book at Hollywood Casino. They are playing the game audio. Whatever game is going to be on, they are playing the audio. So that's the solution for our guy there.
And they encourage people losing their mind.
Yes.
We had a lot of Buffalo Bill. I felt bad for the Bills fans. Like, we had Bills fans like all around.
Right behind us. Those guys were really
loud
angry.
ones right behind us. I mean, I understood why they were angry.
Sure.
I mean, my goodness gracious. Jeez, for that game to be decided then on that call was unbelievable. All right, I'm going to go back to being an angry driver here. No, I try not to get angry, but this is trash. All right, when you're driving on the highway and someone's just camped out in the left lane going like the speed limit or under, and it's not like they couldn't get over. It's not like they're just, okay, they're a slow driver. There's nothing they can do right now. It'll work itself out. So you're either being oblivious, which I think that's typically the case. I don't think people are usually being a jerk. Maybe 5% of the time they're being a jerk. So you're either being a jerk or you're oblivious. Just camped out in the left lane. If you're not passing somebody, get over. If you're driving right now out there and you're just camped out in the left lane, you're trash.
That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage.
Okay, guys, unfortunately, we are going to have an AFC championship game with starting quarterback Jared Stidham. Jared Stidham. And he has not thrown a pass in the NFL in 749 days. That's more than 2 years since he has attempted a pass in the NFL, yet he is going to be the starting quarterback in an AFC championship game. It really sucks. It does. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Like, Bo Nix gets hurt at the very end of the game, and Broncos deserve to advance based on, how good their defense played and Bo Nix leading them to that last drive. But, man, it really takes a lot of the excitement out of next week when Jared Stidham is a starting quarterback in the AFC Championship game, which might lead to a trash game.
I love it because it's trash.
I know everyone's new to the portal, but the past 2 weeks have been ridiculous. And I'm so glad that this is almost over, because if you went to different forums or different sides of Twitter, people are saying that some players are the greatest addition ever, while Ohio State is complaining about these players leaving. And some people think these players are going to be a great addition, where other people think that these players, glad they're gone, they were never going to play for us anyway. Hopefully next year when the portal rolls around, and we have added people in the past couple weeks or so that I think are going to make a difference. But in reality, some of the people we lost, some of the people we added, we'll probably see this season aren't going to be the difference makers for Ohio State. And hopefully in this next year in the portal, we can all realize it's not as big of a deal. The sky is not falling. Ohio State ended up with the third best transfer class. And a week ago, people were like, is Ryan Day losing the locker room? Are we losing too many stars? Like, it was unbelievable. It was trash.
It's such a good point. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus by name, but most of those guys, they didn't care that they lost. Most they lost 30 guys. Most of them were like, maybe some of them are going to be second teamers. No, I'm not talking about guys like Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham and Aaron Scott and Bryce West. I'm not talking about those guys. Fahim Delane. Those guys definitely would have at least been in the 2 deep and could have challenged for starting roles. The other 25, not so much. Like, I said I wasn't going to name names, so I'm not going to.
You know what I am interested in? And once the national championship game ends on Monday night, they always release the betting odds for the next season. And, we're going to see the usual suspects up there. I'm curious where we're going to see Ohio State's odds, because obviously there's still a lot of question marks out there. Look, you don't even have an offensive coordinator yet. But it is always interesting to see where those betting odds are right after a championship game, because I still think Ohio State's probably going to be in the top 3, maybe top 4 of the betting odds for next year.
They're the only team that made the college football playoff, though, at least of the Power 4 teams, that are bringing back their starting quarterback, RB1, and their best wide receiver. Yeah. So Ohio State's bringing back Sand, Bo Jackson, and
most of the offensive line.
And exactly. I think that's a huge story that they're bringing back. I mean, individually, I wasn't surprised all those guys came back, like Carson Hinsman, Luke Montgomery, and Saravel, but it wouldn't have been the most shocking thing if they lost one of those guys. All those guys are coming back, plus Phillip Daniels, plus they got guys that got good experience like Josh Padilla and Gabe Van Sickle and Ian Moore that are coming back. Real quick before we take a break. So if you do the math, Ohio State will have 46 new scholarship players on the team. 46. I mean, you have 85 scholarship players. More than half of your team is turned over.
Boy, that's incredible.
And this is the new normal. This is not an Ohio State thing. This is going to go, like Isaiah said, people were freaking out about it, like as recently as like a week ago. 46, that's going to be the new normal, right around there.
Well, I wish I still had the numbers in front of me, but last week I had the numbers of how many transfer portal starters are playing on these playoff teams and how many are in the national championship game. And it is more than half. For both of these teams, the starting 22 players will mostly be from transfers.
Up next is Best Bets, and we're going to circle back on national championship game betting. This is On the Money.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, you know how it seems like everything just moves faster nowadays?
You mean like technology and all those crazy inventions?
Well, our furnace repair buyback program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get Eco.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get Eco.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker, instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
We ask parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, her little brother's belly laugh, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. It all connects. But at Child Fund, so do we, through everything we do, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
And now back to a show featuring two dudes who've been kicked out of their homes by angry wives. This pretty much sums up every show we have here on The Fan. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
We got a couple big betting days ahead of us. And tomorrow night is the national championship game. Your current line is I wish it was Ohio State, is Indiana -8 against Miami. So that's your line at Hollywood Casino Columbus. It is -8. For a while there, it was 8.5. It's down to 8. The over-under on the game is 47.5. Miami is +250 on the money line in the game. We'll get to our picks in just a second. I want to update for you the NFL lines for today's games. And right now, the Patriots are a 3-point favorite over the Texans today. The over-under on that game, and it's going to be very cold. Could be a little snowy in New England, and the over-under on that game is 40.5. New England is -165 on the money line. The Houston Texans are +140. And then at night, can't wait for this one in Chicago. It's going to be cold. It is the Bears and the Rams. That line has come down a little bit. It was 4 earlier in the show. It is now Rams -3.5 against the Bears, -195 on the money line, and the Bears are +165. The over-under on that one in the cold, single digits, it's 48.5 is the over-under. Okay, let's make our picks, Dave, on all three of these games. Let's start out with the national championship game on Monday night. I think Indiana wins the game. However, I think 8 is too much. And what comes down to me as far as how to look at this game is the common opponent. Of course, we know Ohio State. And we saw the eye test of Ohio State playing Indiana. And we saw Ohio State playing Miami. And it just, after watching both of those games, I have a hard time seeing Miami 8 points worse than Indiana. I think it's going to be a game where Miami's going to want to run the ball with Fletcher. I think Miami has been undervalued throughout this entire playoffs. So I'm going to take the +8. I think Indiana wins the game, but I think 8 points is too many.
I agree with you. And, a lot of sports books still have it at 8.5. Not that that's a big difference. But, they're playing in their home stadium. You might not think that's a big deal because it's going to be half Indiana fans, but still, there's something to be said about, the comfort level of being in your home locker room, not having to travel, all that stuff. It matters. I think it mattered when the Bengals played in the Super Bowl and they had to play the Rams at the Rams Stadium, or when the Bucs got to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and they got to play at their home stadium in Tampa. I think that stuff matters. That being said, I think Indiana's going to win. I wouldn't be shocked if Miami wins.
Me either, yeah.
But I think Indiana's going to win. And like you said, 8 is too many points. I'll take those points and go with Miami. But if I had to bet money line, I'd go Indiana. But give me the 8 points with the Hurricanes.
I am going to take the under on the first half of that game as well. That's one
smart.
of the ways that I'm betting that one. Today's games, NFL, Patriots, Texans, it's right now 3. Some places 3.5. Leans on that one for me. I'm going to take the Texans. You know what? CJ Stroud had a really bad game against the Steelers. And I know that they don't have Nico Collins, but this is going to be a cold weather defensive battle. I like the Texans to keep this within 3.5.
Yeah, I love this Texans defense. And, I love the hook there. I mean, I already got the Texans locked in at plus 3.5, made a bet this morning. I just really like that. I mean, the Patriots could win this game by 3 and you still win the bet. I love the Texans defense. Give me Texans plus 3.5 or plus 3, depending on where you're looking.
And then the night game tonight, we got the Rams and the Bears. Really excited for both of these games. But for me, I'm going to lean on what I kind of felt before the playoffs started was I like this Rams as far as the talent level. Comparing the Rams to the Bears, I know there's that home field advantage for Chicago, and it's a significant advantage. And I do believe that this being a single-digit weather game is advantage Bears too. I just think the Rams are more talented. I think the Bears are a little lucky to be here. They're good at creating turnovers, but a lot of that I think is luck. Give me the Rams -4.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll take the better team, even though, I'll probably end up staying away from it. I tell you one bet I like in this game, though. How about the under? I'm surprised it's as high as it is, 48.5.
But I felt that way yesterday, too. Like the Broncos-Bills game. I'm like, oh, my gosh,
They score 63.
And then there's 63 points on the board. I actually moved the over-under in that game to 60.5. And it still went over that because of the overtime.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You about nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That should be some sports. They just do regulation. It just counts in regulation.
I was really regretting that.
Yeah, so I kind of like the under just because of the weather. But you're right. As soon as I do the under there, watch it be like a 70 points combined game. I might take the under in that one. But yeah, I'm with you though, man. Give me the Rams either -3.5 or -4.
So odds on the next national championship will come out probably Monday night, maybe Tuesday morning. What's your guess on what Ohio State is to win it all next year? I'm going to be in the 6-1 range as far as my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking right around 6-1, maybe 5-1 because of the name recognition. Who do you think is going to be number one as far as the betting odds? Texas?
Yes,
I
believe Texas.
They're going to make that mistake again?
Yep, probably.
Although Arch did look a little better, than what we saw week 1. He finished the year pretty strong. All right, that is our show for today. Thank you very much for joining us. For Scotty Vegas and Isaiah Jacob, I am Dave Biddle. Up next is Fan Sports Sunday with Cole Bartemus and Dane Sanzenbacher. This has been On the Money.